8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
All systems go.
You're listening to Sudbury News Talk.
I want to show you something.
Stand by.
On the morning shift.
Anything
Could happen.
Sudbury News Talk on the morning shift.
Well, good morning, everyone. Welcome to Sudbury News Talk on the morning shift. I'm AJ Walsh. Glad to be with you here this morning. And it is going to be a bit of a different morning. Like every morning is a little different because of something different that happens every day. There's something new. And today is no exception. But that's what keeps us young. It keeps us, it keeps, the problem-solving skills sharp. And it's just the way that it goes. So welcome this morning. This is the Friday edition of Sudbury News Talk right here on CKLU 96.7 FM and on cklu.ca. When you download the Radio Player Canada app, you can listen to us anywhere, anytime on your favorite device. That's if you go to cklu.ca and you download the Radio Player Canada app. And now you don't even have to download the app. You can actually just click on the icon and you can then just stream it live. So you can stream it, just by, the player will open when you click on that, on the Radio Player Canada app logo. So anyways, I'm just getting everything set up here on our end. Hopefully, you can feel free to like, share, subscribe, all those things to the channels and to the video itself to get the word out there. This is not only your station, CKLU 96.7 FM, but this is now your show. This morning show is your show. It's your opportunity to take part in this community conversation by commenting. We don't have the ability, well, we could probably, and we need to find a way to get telephone calls in, and that should be coming shortly because in order to interview Bob Johnson, who is running for mayor this election, said that he'd feel more comfortable with a call-in rather than a video virtual interview. And so it is what it is. And I know we do have the capabilities. I just need to get the proper chords for it and whatever. And now that I have them, we'll be able to plan that for next week. So look forward to that interview with Bob Johnson. A lot of people like him and like his platform, and his slogan we talked about on the show the other day was bigger's not always better or something like that. Anyways, so thought that was interesting. A little bit of a jab at our current mayor, but we've been talking to candidates for mayor, candidates for council, and it's been really exciting. And this is the place to have that kind of a conversation. So we are live on Facebook, facebook.com/Sudbury News. Also, youtube.com/Sudbury News. You can comment on both of those platforms. Now, again, for some strange reason, we were able to have the comments up yesterday. I troubleshooted it, got it. Everything was cool. And then today, the ability was there. And then all of a sudden, we lost the ability to share your comments on the screen. But feel free. I have the monitor in front of me. Feel free to comment, and I'll do my best to mention your comments on air, because this is, again, I really do feel that this is a conversation with you about local events and things that we feel strongly about. And I'd also like to see if I can, speaking of troubleshooting, I'm going to see if my co-host this morning, Miles, if his mic is working. So we'll just say good morning to you, Miles, and see how everything's working. Good morning. How are you doing?
Morning. Good.
Oh, good. Your mic is working. That's fine.
Yes.
Do you know what they say about being late? Better late than never.
Better, yeah.
So I appreciate that, Miles. So we'll just get started with some weather. We'll get that out of the way. We won't get weather out of the way, but we'll get the weather report out of the way. And then we got some sports to talk about, and then we got a lot of headlines and stuff. So I'm glad you're with me, Miles, and Also, all of those that are online that's starting to accumulate, thanks for being with us this morning. We'll get started with a little bit of weather, and we'll be right back after this. And as we say, each and every day, weather always happens, so there's never a shortage of things to talk about. And there is another frost advisory. We had a frost advisory yesterday, and there is one today as well. And so currently it's 5 degrees, partly cloudy, 98% humidity. And looking into today's forecast, it will be sunny eventually, high of 18 as the fog patches dissipate. Then UV index will be 5 or moderate. Tonight, clear, becoming partly cloudy overnight, low of 6. And then Saturday's cloudy, clearing late in the afternoon. And the wind will be gusting up to about 40, so regular day for wind, high of 14. And UV index will be 3 or moderate. Now here's the long range. It looks pretty darn good. You got tomorrow, going to be sunny after it clears in the morning. And then sunny for Sunday, sunny for Monday, and high of 13 to 16 there, and then still a mix of sun and cloud for Tuesday. So it looks like we got a little stint of really nice weather, and then they're calling for a 60% chance of rain on Wednesday, but that's a little ways off. So it looks like we got a little bit of nice weather for the foreseeable future. So, and especially on the weekend, it's a great opportunity to get out there when there's no mosquitoes and enjoy this wonderful fall weather as the leaves are starting to change, and it's starting to get a lot cooler. And I know a lot of people's favorite season is fall. I know myself, I'm among them. It's just the dreaded what's coming after it that I don't necessarily appreciate. But I do love fall, and so it's an opportunity for us to get out there and enjoy the weather. And satellite view, just to see what it kind of looks like over our skies. You see how it's mostly clear, just a little bit of cloud cover there. So that is your weather for this day, this September the 30th, Friday. And we'll be back with Miles and some sports right after this. As promised, Miles is here to talk about all things Sudbury news, and included in that is sports. So, do you follow the Sudbury Cubs at all, Miles?
I have to admit, I know who they are, but I don't follow them much. No.
Yeah, and I think that's the case with many people in Sudbury because the NOJHL is. Yeah, so I think that's the case with many people, but they play at the Countryside Arena. I think that's their home, their home arena. Yeah. What do you think of the Countryside Arena? I think it's a great venue. What are your thoughts?
It's a good location. It's a good place for hockey and other events, and it's a good, like I say, it's a good place to go for.
Oh, for sure, yeah. Not only for playing, like they got the couple ice pads there, right? So if you're doing tournaments and things like that, it's a perfect place to do a bunch of games in an efficient way. And I like the amount of stands they have. You can really pack it in there. And there's a place to watch if it's too cold for you. There's a spot there where there's a lot of glass. You can kind of stand behind there in the warmth, or you can get out in the cold and cheer on the team, kind of thing. So I really I love that venue.
I don't know why I haven't heard much on what they could do to expand it and make it either a stadium there or something else bigger for the Wolves, or even, you know what I mean? Nothing's ever been said about it.
Well, I do believe it's been brought up. Like there's a lot of people that said that would be a good place for the new arena, just to like you said, just add on to it basically and make that. And there's a lot of land there. Well, maybe less and less. They've been building around it with some residential buildings. So maybe that's the case. Maybe it's starting to get a little crowded because you have the bypass there that's kind of hedges you in a bit, and then Long Lake
Well,
Road.
the original plan was for some sports fields, soccer fields, and they that was their original plan, but I don't think they've put that in very much lately as far as the land.
Yeah, well, you know, we were speaking of the Sudbury Cubs, and that's their home turf, and and I know Espanola got a new rebranding for their team in the NJHL, and that's the Espanola Paper Kings, and that's the same league. So I know I work out of Espanola, and so I'm going to be probably have my finger on the pulse a little bit more with that league because we're right there with the arena, and where I work, we do some advertising there, so we're a bit of a partner, and so I'll get to know them. And I know Thomas Mercier, I've been working with them as well. So, and we're in talks to see how, you know, if he's going to be able to come on the show a little bit more and talk a lot about sports, because he also does the Sudbury Wolves. He's the color commentator with Brian Cooper.
Sudbury.
Yeah, with Brian Cooper, who is the morning guy on the country music station. And so anyways, we're in talks with him to see if he's going to come on the show. But he'll know a lot about the Cubs, so we'll be able to hear a lot more about that league and stuff, and then working our way into the Wolves. But apparently the Cubs are doing really well. They just defeated the Sault Ste. Marie Eagles, so that's right on. I think more people... What's that?
I said they just, like the season's been underway for a week or so, hasn't it?
Yeah, they got off to a bit of a more quicker start. So I guess they start earlier, then the OHL starts, and then the NHL starts, kind of each one, you know, starts earlier than the other. And the Wolves, speaking of the Wolves, they got their season opener tonight at the Sudbury Arena against the Barrie Colts. That's always a good rivalry every year against the Barrie Colts. So they've just released their new theme schedule. And for their 50th anniversary, this year's theme schedule is highlighted by a number of big games, including Kids Jersey Day on Sunday, January 16th, We Are Wolves Fan Fest on Sunday, October 23rd, and the 50th anniversary celebration game on November the 4th, Sensory Friendly game on Sunday, December the 4th, and Shorsey Night on in support of Neo Kids on December 9th. Indigenous Celebration Day, January 27th. I'm sure I was wondering why they weren't doing that today, being the Day of Truth and Reconciliation, but interesting. A Jersey Retirement Day on February the 3rd, and much, much more. So those dates are all over the place. I'm wondering why they didn't put them in order, but it is what it is. The Wolves will also be bringing back Junior Wolves Sundays and Sudbury Saturday Nights, which were launched during the 2019-20 season. Do you remember those, Miles? They used to have a band and everything playing on those nights?
I have to confess, I don't remember.
Mm-hmm. So they had a stage and everything, and so instead of just playing, canned music in between periods or whatever, they'd have Sudbury artists get up there and showcase their stuff. It was really cool. It was like a live show,
almost like the Nashville Predators and their country stuff.
Yeah, exactly. So we took a page from that, and it was really cool. So it's coming back. Obviously, COVID put a damper on that for a couple of years, but another thing they did and they're bringing back is the Junior Wolves Sunday Family Skate, where you can go out there and skate with the Sudbury Wolves. As a kid, how great is that?
Yeah, that'd be wonderful. Yeah.
I remember I grew up in the Soo when I was young, and they did things like that in the Soo, and to me, it was pretty much on par with skating with an NHL player. To me, as a young person, like I looked at it to that degree.
Oh yeah, the little kids would get a kick out of it for sure.
Yeah, I remember, and my dad brought me down to meet Wayne Gretzky when he played for the Sioux Greyhounds, and just wanted me to meet him. He goes, this guy's going to be something, and I want you to meet him. And not everyone was saying that at that time. Sure, he had a lot of fanfare, and there's, because he was so good, so young. But most people thought, well, as soon as he reaches some of the higher levels, he's going to be taught a lesson, kind of thing. Wayne Gretzky.
Oh, I remember.
Yeah. But my dad said
it was
no.
the same thing when he started junior.
Yeah.
Because most of the big junior players were 20 years old then. They were just getting ready to get drafted.
And he was
At that time, they didn't get drafted till they were 20.
And he was 16.
Yes.
Playing with 20-year-olds. And was still amazing. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So anyways, so that was magical for me. Not only because, he turned out to be who he was, but even if he didn't, like just the fact he was on the Sioux Greyhounds to me was larger than life, And this is a great opportunity for families to get out there and just mingle with the Sudbury Wolves. And for the little ones, it is magical. So parents who have children in hockey just, and aren't aware of that, it is a really great opportunity for them, and it's wonderful.
Yes.
Yeah, so the Sudbury Saturday night, we'll have the MIC stage where local artists will get up and perform. And Miranda Boivin, who is the Sudbury Wolves marketing manager, says our team has been working diligently this offseason to develop a fun and exciting theme schedule that fans will be able to enjoy, in addition to also allowing us to celebrate our 50th anniversary. Coming out of COVID, our team is really looking forward to getting back involved with the community this year and giving back and meeting with fans. There should be something for everyone, and we're looking forward to a very exciting season of Wolves hockey. So tonight, Barrie Colts puck drop is 7:05. Get out there and support the Sudbury Wolves and have a great time. In the meantime, regular season tickets are now on sale at greatersudbury.ca/tickets and the Sudbury Arena box office. And fans can still get their season's memberships, which used to be called season's tickets, but they're season memberships now. A little bit of rebranding. I think they're starting at $500 plus GST, so HST, $499. You can get regular season memberships, which isn't bad to go to every single game,
Is there like 30 or 40 home games? 40?
Yeah, I don't know the exact amount, but one of the great things is if you can't get down to the game, you can catch the game live on the radio, right on this station, CKLU 96.7 FM, and or some of them are broadcast. You go to OHL Live Hockey, and you pay a bit of a membership. I think you can pay per game as well. So if you just want to see one game, you can just pay, I forget what it is, but a small fee, and you can watch the game online. But if you don't need to watch it, you can listen to it right here on CKLU. Exciting stuff. So if you're following the Blue Jays, which some people are, just to talk a little bit, get a little bit out of local for a second, tonight, well, we're going to add a little bit of local to it. The Jays struggled a little bit against the Yankees, and who wouldn't this last series? They looked so good. Tampa Bay, it looked like, okay, we're going into the playoffs, and here's a team they've struggled with for a while, Tampa Bay, and they won that series, and then coming in to face the New York Yankees, they won the first game in extra innings, and then the New York Yankees came out as New York Yankees do, and Aaron Judge got his 61st record-tying home run at the Rogers Center in the third game, I believe it was, and it took him that long to do it. But the Jays lost the next two games after that, so they lost that series. The Yankees clinched, so they got into, they clinched the division. And the Blue Jays still, I think, have 2 games to win in order to.
No, they clinched yesterday.
What's that?
They didn't even play. They clinched yesterday.
Because of losses, the other team's losing?
Yes, they clinched getting in the wild card, not the top wild card, but they clinched getting the playoffs.
Okay, yeah. I knew that was a factor, too. If it was just up to them, they needed 2 wins, but if other teams would lose.
And, Baltimore lost yesterday, so that put the Blue Jays in.
There you go. So really exciting tonight's game. There's going to be the opening pitch. Do you know who's throwing out the opening pitch?
Yes, I heard, and I'm trying to remember who it was. It's not Austin Matthews.
It's not. No, he did it the other night. Yeah. There's a lady.
Sudbury.
Yeah, there's a lady from this region who's going to be throwing the pitch, and she's a survivor of residential schools, and she's doing it in commemoration of Truth and Reconciliation today, which I thought was rather cool.
Yeah.
You know, and a bit
is
of
cool, yeah.
someone from the Sudbury area doing it. So, you know, I wish her all the best. I know it would probably be kind of intimidating getting out in front of all those fans. And there's a lot more fans now than there has been recently just because of the excitement of the playoffs coming. So there's going to be a lot of people there today.
Yes.
And so, yeah, so that's going to be it for Sudbury Sports. We're going to be back with some news headlines right after this. Now, this, I can't believe what I did. We could have, well, I guess it's a good segue because we, let's see here. We got to get this thing up and running. So we could have started this segment, still could have ended the segment with this next story. Top Glove Boxing is having a 50-50 draw. Now, you're aware of Top Glove Boxing, Miles?
Yeah, they're just up the road from where I am. Lorne, I think they're.
They're on Lorne.
Lawrence.
They bounced around quite a bit through the years. They were on the corner of Elm and Regent.
Fruit Road. Yeah.
Yeah, they were Fruit kind of stuck, in that area. Then they went out to New Sudbury for a while, and now they're on Lawrence Street, which I think they're getting settled in there and everything's going really well. I think they're going to make that their home. But anyways, they're having a 50-50 draw. So
that's Gord. Isn't that Gord Apolloni's
that is
club?
Yeah, that's
Yes.
Gord Apolloni, a good friend of mine, and he does such a good job. He has an Olympic ring, and I just think that's awesome. Anyone who has an Olympic ring.
He's been the Olympic head of boxing for Canada for years.
Yeah.
And going to the Olympics, yeah.
I'm trying to think of the one that he coached specifically that he got the ring for. It's a infamous name here in Sudbury.
Oh, yeah, I know what you mean.
And just for some reason, my mind just went blank, but I know it's going to come to me. But anyways, and then more recently, he's been the women's boxing coach for the Olympics. So he's been involved in the name Govro is coming to my mind, but it's not that. Anyways, I know who it is. But sorry about that, everyone. I know there's probably some people on who know who it is. Phil.
Maybe in the comments, yeah.
Phil. That's who it is.
Yeah, Phil.
I know his last name too. This is crazy.
Yeah.
But that's Brian
Yeah.
letting us know that. So, yeah.
I got a senior movement, yeah.
Why do I not? Oh, I know his name's right there.
Phil
But anyways,
Goudreau.
Phil. Goudreau.
Goudreau.
There you go. I was saying Govro. Yes, Goudreau. There you go. Phil Goudreau. I
Goudreau.
should have known that. What's that?
Boudreaux with a B, yeah. Boudreaux with a B, right?
Boudreau. Yeah, Phil Boudreau. Now you go. Yeah, there we go. I apologize for that, everyone. It's just, I guess it was a long night, early morning. We're both having senior moments here. But I just want to give a shout out to those that are Julia. Good morning. Thank you. We're not able to share the comments for some strange reason. Again, this morning, there's a little bit of a technical mystery going on here. Brian's been chiming in. Thanks for helping us with the name. Good morning, Julia. Oh, we have two Julias on, by the way. And yeah, Brian says Boudreaux. So thank you very much for this is your show. So, and I'm going to make sure to check out the comments more diligently as we're chatting this morning. And this is a good segue too from what we were talking about. The Sudbury.com is reporting headline: Chief urges reflection about residential schools on Truth and Reconciliation Day. Ceremonies, marches, and other gatherings are scheduled across Canada to observe the federal statutory holiday, also known as Orange Shirt Day. which was established last year following the discovery of suspected unmarked burial sites at former residential schools. So yeah, orange shirt day today, and you'll see Rogers Centre. I think that's going to be very orange in the stands if I'm going to predict correctly. And so I know some people, it's a holiday. Some people actually are off today.
Yes.
To
It's
join
a
with.
holiday for government and banks and yeah.
So is it a stat holiday for you, Miles?
At our facility, it is, yes, but I still work through stat holidays, yes.
Oh, okay, interesting. Yeah, because I know. Yeah.
Depends on your schedule where I work, but like say those that work like steady day shift or staff like the management staff, they all get it off.
Oh, interesting. Just certain people. I don't know
Yeah,
if
well,
you.
the essential workers keep going to work, but yeah.
Oh, I
But
see.
we
Yeah.
get paid. But
Makes
we
sense.
get paid for. Yeah.
Yeah, makes total sense. This is the story I've been wanting to get to. Is just, have you heard about the shooting on Grandview yesterday?
Yeah, I heard something about up there. Yeah.
Oh, I think it was the day before yesterday. But anyways, it was Sudbury, new
There's
Sudbury
no
shooting.
casualties.
What's that?
Nobody was hurt or anything.
No one was hurt. So, new Sudbury shooting believed to be targeted. As Sudbury detectives continue to investigate a shooting on Grandview Boulevard, they say it is a suspected targeted attack. And so I do have the report from CTV News. So let's just take a look at the video for a second, and then we'll be right back. We'll just break it down a bit, see if we can glean anything from it. We'll be right back.
Here at home, Greater Sudbury Police are investigating a shooting incident outside a house in the Grandview Boulevard area. Police are not offering details, but it's clear that a Jeep in the driveway of a home was shot up. There are bullet casings visible, and officers have taped off the area to collect evidence. Police say there are no injuries.
Based on our investigation so far and the evidence that we've collected, we believe that this was a targeted attack, that it was not random, and it was targeted specifically to this residence. We're asking the public to come forward if they have information about the shooting. Those who live in the area of Grandview, if you have home surveillance video.
And police say they're canvassing the area for witnesses and looking over security video.
Yeah, so there you go. That's the report from CTV News. So thanks for that. What do you think about that, Miles? Is it just basically a targeted attack? They, shot up a Jeep?
There's been increase of violence certainly in the last few years, and specifically gun violence, and it gets a little bit disturbing.
Like, you don't normally see something like this in Sudbury, right? Like a drive-by shooting.
No.
And it's in New
So it's
Sudbury too.
concerning.
It's like it's not downtown, Donovan, Flour Mill, something I don't know if you expect that, but we don't even expect
Yeah.
drive-by shootings, period. But here you got it right in a residential neighborhood in New Sudbury.
Yeah, like Toronto's come to Sudbury eventually when you see stuff like that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And they're saying they're wondering who to, like, I think they need to ask the owner of the Jeep or the person in the house, shouldn't they have a pretty good idea of who that could have been possibly?
Well, I'm sure the investigating officers are asking those questions, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm. Well, that'd be the first person I'd ask. I'd say, who do you think could be shooting at your Jeep, And I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure it'd be a small list there of potential people.
Yeah, I'm sure they're asking those questions.
Yeah. That's what came to my mind right away, is like, there's more than likely they know who it is. But anyways, that's pretty scary stuff. I don't know. I would hope
Especially if you've got
never
small
happened here.
children in the area, and
yeah,
have
exactly.
a family. And, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, not cool. So here's an interesting one. Sudbury author wants to make you poop your pants. I love that headline. Caught my attention. Jeremy Dunton, who writes under the pen name Jeremy John, has released a second book, a collection of spooky short stories.
Oh, I always thought maybe he researched on colon cancer or something.
Yeah, exactly. No, these are spooky short stories. I know it's perfect timing just before Halloween too, right? So this is
Right.
very good in terms of marketing and, just public relations and understanding marketing. Perfect opportunity if you're going to write a book about spooky short stories. This is the time to release it and time we're talking about it. So I shared that from Sudbury.com. It's also on our Facebook page. And so you can just click on that and find out how you can get your book and support a local author. Jerome saying, good morning. Yeah, that's what targeted means. Exactly. Could you give a shout out to my mom, 100 years old today, Irene Ovis, alive and kicking. That's from Marianne Ovis. Well, yes. Well, congratulations and happy birthday, 100 years old, Irene. So that's pretty cool. Gotta love that. And thanks for using this as a platform to do that as well. So this is the whole idea of this show in the first place, is talk about local things, connect with the community, and we're more than happy to do that. So what do you think about that, Miles? How many people do you know that have reached that milestone of 100 years old?
There's not many. I work in a place where I know a few.
Mm-hmm.
But
that's why I asked you.
The Centenarian Club is a exclusive club.
For sure. That's awesome. And you know what I always like to, I hear people when they reach that milestone and they're interviewed, they say, what would you think you could attribute your longevity to? And I've heard every answer under the sun when those that have reached that answered the question. And I'll never forget the one was, eat as much ice cream as you can. Eat ice cream. I thought, that's interesting. If only it was that easy.
I think it's like winning the lottery myself.
Mm-hmm. For sure. Well, that's great. That's so awesome. Glad to give a shout out. Yes. This is an interesting headline, I thought. Humdrum agenda for City Council's final meeting. Rally planned for outside Tom Davies Square is still scheduled to take place on October 4th, despite that day's City Council meeting no longer being on the calendar. Well, I thought, again, like, you're going to have a City Council meeting. What are you going to discuss when not even a month from there, you might not be there yourself. So how many decisions are you going to be making? Anyways.
That's the definition of lame duck.
Yeah, exactly. And another thing too, I was surprised at how many things City Council were doing later, so late into into the game kind of thing before the election. They were making all kinds of policies. The one where you're not allowed to comment on a social media, or you're responsible for all the comments on your social media. Even if I go on there and make a comment, that councillor or mayor or representative of the city is responsible for the comments, even though I made them, if it's on their social media. They made that policy that's the case going forward. Were you in agreement with that policy at all?
The social media, what do they call, limiting of the councillors and so on? Yeah, like basically making them accountable. So let's say I go on there and I say, like, I'm going to do a targeted shooting and shoot up a Jeep tomorrow. And now that councillor is responsible because I said that on their social media. Right. I think it's up to the person themselves, if they're in a responsible position, to edit their own their web page or social media accounts and stuff like that, right?
Yeah, so there's some accountability.
I don't think we should be legislating any limitations to that, but that's my opinion.
Yeah, no, that's true. Jerome's just giving some love out for Irene and her birthday there. That's awesome to see. And Marianne said, thank you so much for getting my mom out there. So that's really awesome. We're more than happy to do that for you, Marianne. What's that? Sorry, Miles?
It says my wife's birthday today too.
Oh, well, look at that. Happy birthday. That's awesome. Yes.
Yeah.
This is a good day. This is September the 30th. I guess a lot of people have birthdays today. And you know what? What's odd is I'll oftentimes begin the show with just saying happy birthday if it's your birthday today kind of thing. I didn't do that today, but now here we have the opportunity to do that. So that's really cool. I love that.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Yeah.
This is one thing I thought was interesting. Valet takes to the air with choppers over Coniston for 5 days. This is the annual grass reseeding program is directed at roughly 100 hectares of barren land located southeast of Coniston. So I didn't realize that we still had that much going on with the regreening. I thought it was greened already. I didn't think it still needed to be regreened. Do you know anything about that, Miles?
I don't know about the regreening, but if you took the bypass between Coniston and South End, you'd see still a lot of
rock,
pretty barren land.
Okay.
Yeah. The Coniston smelter really did a lot of damage over the years to that area.
Yeah, no, it's true. I did notice that. That's true.
Maybe a lot of people don't know about it, but the smelters in Sudbury sort of like surrounded the whole basin. That's why it was so black, the rock, and barren, no trees for years up till about 1970s.
Did you know about, so Coppercliff had a smelter, Coniston had a smelter, and there were additional smelters too around the area?
I believe there was, yeah. I don't know exactly where they all were, but there's a bunch of them at one time.
And before the stack, the super stack, and other stacks, they would smelt right on the ground. Like they would just burn the ore, and they would use timber. Yeah. So we didn't have trees for two reasons. One, we needed timber to burn to actually do the smelting. And then once the gases went into, whatever, it would kill off vegetation.
Yeah. So the late 1800s till about the 1920s or 30s, it was all smeltered on, like, very close to the ground.
Mm-hmm. They called them roasting yards.
All over the place. Like, so it was all over, it's like surrounding the whole basin. That's why Sudbury, like I said, up till the 1970s was like nobody would like to visit. It looked pretty desolate.
Pretty much looked like Sodom and Gomorrah after the after Judgment Day.
But amazingly, it only took about 30 years, and everything started looking really nice again.
Yeah, and that's I travel abroad, and you as you do too, and as you run into people and they say, "Where are you from?" and you say you're from Sudbury, and a lot of times I get the responses, "I'm sorry."
Yeah, that's right.
I'm sorry, and I'm like, "No, like what do you mean?" And they say, "Well, I was there in 1975, or I was there in whatever," and I say, "Oh, it's changed a lot. You'd be really surprised." And they look at me like disbelief, like how could that change? Like that was pretty darn barren land up there.
Well, I remember what it looked like.
Yeah, and I guess if you just take a ride on the bypass from 69 to going towards 17, you can have a look at maybe what it could have looked like before in a lot of areas. Like you said, it's pretty barren. But there are some trees.
There's some short trees, and it just looks different than the rest of the area.
Yeah. I was really surprised with what they did to where they did the slag dumping on Big Nickel Road. Remember how that was just black slag for years?
Oh, it used to be. Yeah, we used to go watch the slag dumps there. You could see it. It was beautiful at night with the glowing slag going down the side.
People love that. And then almost overnight, they turned it into a big grassy hill. And I was like, wow. They went in there and sprayed it. They just had this industrial hose with green sludge, and they just sprayed all the slag. And within like weeks, it was already shrubbery and you name it. It was just overnight hill.
It was without soil or anything,
No soil. They just sprayed the stuff on.
It was amazing,
It's like a giant chia pet kind of thing. It was like, wow, how is that even possible? But I guess they have, they have a way to do that. So, oh yeah, they had roasting beds in Lively too. So I guess that's a point I was going to bring up too, is they didn't actually need a building. They could just do it on open, just in a field and just have light a bunch of logs on fire, and there you go. Throw the ore on it, and now you're smelting it. And ouch!
I've seen old pictures of it. Yeah.
Oh, just like
Yeah.
imagine living here at that time, and working in that atmosphere. Ouch! Not good for the health.
No, definitely not. Well, you remember what happened to the super stack when they built the super stack? Still, the emissions was high coming out of the super stack.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if you're old enough to remember the
Tornado
of Ontario. No, the acid rain coming out, going down to the Muskokas and southern Ontario, and some of the lakes were getting dangerously high acidity and killing some of the lakes down in southern Ontario, right?
Yep.
So finally, by the 80s, the Ministry of Environment finally put out a policy that you had to reduce your emissions. And they finally started doing that in the early 80s, mid 80s, reducing emissions. And it's a very simple solution. They just put sprayers inside the stack, right? Like water sprayers.
Yeah.
And wash down the emissions. So
okay.
There wasn't anything like it was rocket science. It was just the way it was supposed to be done.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the way all things work, right? Like you got to find solutions to problems. One solution to a problem was we needed ore, so we got it out of the ground and we needed to process it, and then we realized, wait a minute, this is kind of dangerous, and so then the next stage was how can we do this better? That's not going to affect our health and affect the environment as bad. But I guess Jen is saying hydro seeding is the term.
Yes, that's great.
Yeah, I didn't realize that. That's cool. Hydro seeding.
Been around for like 30 years or so.
Yeah.
Hydro seeding.
We did get a UN, some kind of award from the UN even for the regreening efforts here.
Not too long ago.
Yeah, pretty huge stuff. And it is huge. The transformation of this place. It went from beautiful to gross, and then, making its way back to beautiful again. It's funny because working out of Espanola, they have a lot of historical pictures of the plant there when they first built it in the late 1800s, early 1900s. And you look at the surrounding area and it's all rock. Like there's no trees around Espanola either. Like that's...
No, it was bad there too, yeah.
No, it was barren.
There must have been some effect from Sudbury from Espanola a bit.
And I was pondering on that quite a bit, and I thought, you know what? I think there's multiple reasons for it. Part of the reason was they needed to cut down trees to do the smelting.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
They needed to cut down trees to build houses for people to live in, and infrastructure. That's the way things were built back then. A lot of wood, and you got wood locally. You didn't do what we do now. Is you just go in the middle of nowhere and harvest your trees and bring them in and drive it all over the world. We went local. And you didn't want to go too far because there's a lot of traveling. So you cut down all the trees close to you to build and to do the smelting. And look at what that is. That's a pulp and paper plant. So, I mean, all the trees within any vicinity of that place is going to be, gone. So
the eastern white pine is gone because of it, right?
Oh, I didn't know that. So it's obsolete now?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah.
Meaning...
They used to be like my father saw white pine that was 6 to 7 feet wide, like in diameter.
Ouch! Wow.
You don't see that. You don't see that anymore in the area. So there used to be one tree. I don't know if you ever remember going through Thessalon and seeing a sign, "See the big tree."
Not necessarily, but I'd have to go back into the archives of my brain.
It was up in a little area called Little Rapids, and you could go and it was like a tourist site. You see the big tree. It was a tree that was 150 feet long, about 6 to 7 feet in wide and base. They had walkways around it.
Wow.
And it finally fell down. It died.
Oh, too bad.
That was about 15 years ago, maybe 20 years ago.
Interesting.
Yeah, it got blown over by a big wind, and they tried saving it by pouring cement, and it was center rot, right? It's pouring cement in it, and pumping cement into it. It
Jerome,
was pretty interesting.
Jerome,
But
go ahead.
there were four. Let me see. There were lots of forests of white pine like that over 100 years ago.
Well, a lot of our buildings are probably made of those then, a lot of the older buildings around here. It went to make smelting too as well.
Smelting, pulp and paper, sawmills, yeah.
Yeah, and then I also heard the Chicago fire, the one that destroyed a good chunk of Chicago.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of the wood came from up here as well. So there you got another, Chicago wasn't a small place, one of the largest cities at the time in North America, in the world. Jerome shares something that's, I don't know, it's sad in some ways, but hilarious in other ways. Said they moved from Newfoundland in 1967, and his mom cried for a month.
That is funny. Sorry, Jerome.
Yeah, black rock and sulfur fog. Well, it would have been like you're actually moving into Sodom and Gomorrah after the destruction kind of thing. It would have been a little bit like that.
Especially after coming from like beautiful Newfoundland.
Oh yeah, for sure. And speaking of Newfoundland, there's a bit of a theme today. Birthdays, Newfoundland. Yep. Your wife is from Newfoundland, Karen. So, yeah, she would understand a little bit of that. So,
yeah. She only cried for a day.
She cried for a day. I was glad to hear have you on the show today with this story. It says City of Greater Sudbury's credit rating reconfirmed. Management practices strong. So what do you get from that headline? Greater City of Sudbury's credit rating reconfirmed. Management practices strong.
Well, they haven't spent much as far as capital, so
Well, it's true, because they've been talking about where they're going to spend the money for so long. You're right; it hasn't really gone out yet. City of Greater Sudbury's
even the capital projects going ahead, like the one where I work, they haven't started it yet, but it's supposed to be finished by 2024. I don't know if many people know it. There's a $65 million 20 or 5-store addition going on to Pioneer Manor.
No, wow.
Should be finished in somewhere in 2024 and 25 in that area.
Yeah, wow. So So I guess they have more money than they've been spending, but they've been talking about spending it. The KED, the new library downtown, all these big projects they've been talking about, but they haven't spent anything really yet. Well, they have spent frivolously on consultants and things like that I don't think everyone would agree with, but the City of Greater Sudbury's AAA+ credit rating with a stable outlook, which was just upgraded earlier this year, was reaffirmed today by Standard & Poor's Global Rating in its annual report. What a name for a firm when you're talking about financial things. Standard & Poor. But anyways, I guess that's somebody's name. It's just odd.
Yeah.
The credit rating is an assessment of the municipality's financial health based on factors such as historic financial performance, policies, economic growth, and long-term plans. It influences the interest rate paid on any new debt the city takes on. And the mayor, go ahead.
No, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, Mayor Brian Bigger says the AAA+ credit rating is a great source of pride for our city. This credit rating is a direct benefit of the strategy and hard work achieved by City Council and supported by staff. Achieving an excellent credit rating enables us to make financial decisions that will support our community as we continue to be a great northern hub that has immense innovative capacity. So, pat on the back for the City of Greater Sudbury there. AAA+. Or what's that?
And the mayor.
Well, yeah, no, you got to give credit where credit's due. It's a credit rating. Now, I'm sure if someone was critical about it, they could talk to what goes into it and why it's that, and maybe why it might just look good as a credit rating, but, behind the scenes, blah, blah, blah. There's always that. But I guess just, it could be worse. It could be not a good credit rating, right?
Yeah, you wouldn't be able to go ahead with any projects with a bad credit rating.
Yep. Yeah, if you go back, Jerome was saying there was red and white pine back in the day. It was a vast forest and lots of logging.
Yeah, I'm sure there's some writings on that someplace you can find.
Oh, for sure. Have you seen this at all, though? Sudbury police searching for a U-Haul driver after woman injured in a hit and run.
Oh, no.
Cole Johnson Whitfield, 23 years old, is believed to have fled the city with a U-Haul truck. So, should be easy to find him.
You'd think.
Just pull over any U-Haul trucks. I guess I'm laughing. I hope the woman wasn't injured too bad. I don't want to be laughing at her expense. I'm not laughing at that.
No, I'm sure U-Haul could give the police some descriptions and things like that.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Well, they have the name of the person, anyways.
That's probably where they go.
Greater Sudbury Police have asked the public to help locating 23-year-old man they say struck and seriously injured. That's unfortunate. A woman with a U-Haul truck on Nesbitt Drive on September 17th and then fled the scene. In a press release, the police said Cole Johnson Whitfield is believed to have fled the city of Greater Sudbury and his whereabouts are unknown. A warrant has been issued for his arrest on charges of dangerous operation causing bodily harm, failure to stop after an accident causing bodily harm, operation while prohibited, 3 counts, and then failed to comply with release order and a breach of probation order. So he was also on probation at the time. So the victim here, 33-year-old Michelle Zazaluk not the victim, was also arrested and charged with party to the offense of dangerous operation causing bodily harm, party to the offense of failure to stop after the accident, and obstructing a peace officer. And she attended court on Monday. So I guess there was 2 together and 1 remained and the other one fled. That's
probably where they got the information about him. That's probably where they got the information about him, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. The woman was taken to Health Sciences North and remained in hospital in stable condition on Thursday. Yeah, he's, I guess if you want a description of him, he's 5'10", 140 pounds, long brown hair past his shoulders, brown eyes, and a tattoo of an angel with roses on the right side of his neck. Well, again, should be pretty easy to spot there. Mm-hmm. Anyone with information, obviously, you can call Crime Stoppers or the Greater Sudbury Police Traffic Management Unit, 705-675-9171. Yeah, hopefully they're able to grab him. And again, running, I don't know if you're eventually going to get caught anyways. Like, just turn yourself in. It looks better for everything that's going to happen afterwards anyways, unless if they sniff you out and find you, it's going to be even worse when you go through court and you're trying to say sorry and all this stuff. So it usually looks better on you if you just turn yourself in.
He's probably already ditched the U-Haul.
You're right, yeah, because that's gives it away. But they haven't found it apparently yet, so he probably had a good hiding place for it. Last headline, it's high on crack, couple afraid they were being followed. They called Sudbury police. So you can imagine all the comments there that came through on that one. We didn't have any on ours, but that was shared from Sudbury.com or Sudbury Star. And there's quite a few comments on that.
Yeah.
Jerome again says, you know what you say, if you can't get enough, get a noof. Karen would appreciate that one too. So, yeah. So today, happy birthday to Karen. Happy birthday to Irene, I believe it is. Yeah, Irene, Karen, happy birthday. Happy birthday to all y'all who it's your birthday today. Glad to bring you Sudbury News Talk this morning. And Miles, I'm really glad you were able to be on, even though you came on a bit late. That's fine. I appreciate that more than you know, just being on the show. Thank you so much for that. Much appreciated.
Thank
I'll
you.
take-
Glad to be back on again.
Thank you. I'll take you late anytime. Thank you very much. So let's stay tuned now for Earshot Daily on CKLU and listen in for the Wolves tonight. If you're not able to get down and watch them, you can listen to it right here on your favorite station, CKLU 96.7 FM. Stay tuned now for Earshot Daily. We'll see you same time, same place on Monday morning, everyone. Happy weekend. Have a great one. Ciao.